Good afternoon, Old Gun Guy here. This is just going to be a quick little video on 38 special ammo, 3 different rounds. It's just a ammo test for a friend of mine who I used to work with, retired on a job with. And one of his everyday carries is a Smith & Wesson Chief Special Airweight. Modern version of this. This is a very old one. This is from the 60s. He has a new board version. I'm going to try 3 types of ammo. I'm going to chronograph them, 3 shots apiece, and then 3 separate internal effects tests. That's all this video is going to encompass. Going to use Hornady 110 grain critical defense FTX projectile. It's basically a hollow point, 110 grain hollow point filled with polymer to prevent it from clogging up with material. I'm going to use some Winchester range type ammo, 138 grain lead semi-wad cutter, real low tech, and not non-hollow point. And lastly, some high-end, very high-end, expensive. Well, the critical defense is about $1.50 a shot. This is $2 a shot. This is Buffalo Bore, designed for short barrel revolvers, according to the box. 125 grain jacketed hollow point. It's advertised as low velocity, jacketed hollow point, non-plus P, 38 special, short barrel, low flash, heavy, whatever that means. 900 feet a second, it says, out of a, I assume a 2-inch revolver. With the 2-inch revolver, 38s, well, there's one 7/8 inch Chief Special here, 38 Special. I did a video on this firearm a while back. You don't have a lot of available velocity coming out of 2 inches of barrel. So we're going to set the chronograph up. I'm going to put the camera on the chronograph. I got this new external mic that's plugged into my old camera here, and it appears to be working good, so the audio should be good. I'll call out the shots. I won't have me, on camera shooting. I'm just going to use the one camera. But I'm going to put my ears on, and we're going to get to it. 3 shots of each ammunition. I'll do the Winchester 158 grain jacketed lead semi-wad cutter first, followed by the 110 grain Hornady critical defense, and the 125 grain Buffalo Bore jacketed hollow point. And let me get my ears and we'll get to it. Turn the machine on. Okay. First up, 3 of the Winchester 158 grain lead semi-wad cutters. 754, 740, 735. Next up, the Hornady critical defense 110 grain FTX projectile. $8.99. That didn't record. $9.17. $9.11. So that was the Hornady 110 grain FTX projectile. Now the $2 a shot, just about 125 grain buffalo bore. $1,002. $1,004. $1,001. Pretty consistent. Pretty hot. Okay. Let's flip this around. Get on camera here. All right. Had a little trouble with the Chrono. The light's starting to fade here in the late afternoon. And you need good sunlight on the screens. But I was able to move it to a sunny spot and we got our data. I'm going to do 3 separate terminal effects tests, water jugs, plywood. The first water jug I'm going to cover with 4 layers of denim, just to make things official. The ratio for water to gel is about 1.2 to 1.5. So that means if it goes, a bullet go into 10 inches of gel and stop, it's allegedly going to go through 15 inches of water. That's allegedly a ratio. I've kind of observed different results, but at least water is a consistent medium, just like the gel is. And it's 90% water, the gel. So that's all I have here. Going to go to the terminal effects test in the same order. The 38 lead semi-wad cutter, 158 grain, the 110 grain Hornady FTX, and then the Buffalo Bore 125 jacketed hollow point, short barrel, low flash. Although it did perform very well out of this. You get good velocity out of this little 1 7/8 inch barrel. Let's get that. Okay, set up for the terminal effects test. I'm going to change the order. Let me just turn this. I'm going to change the order. I'm going to do the 110 grain Hornady Critical Defense FTX projectile first, followed by the Buffalo Bore 125 grain short barrel high performance revolver load, and followed by the 158 grain lead semi-wad cutter bullet, basically range ammo, out of the Model 37 Airweight Chief Special 1960s vintage, 1 7/8 inch barrel. We chronographed it. We'll go over it in a brief summary, and we'll do the 3 tests in quick succession here. So let me put my ears on and we'll get to it. I'll zoom in. Okay, first up, the Hornady. Okay. Well, I have lost the projectile. It blew up the jug, went through the 4 layers of denim I had on the front. Basically just put a dent in the plywood. So I'm going to set this up again. I'm going to try the Buffalo Bore. Basically it is a jug. Projectile bounced off and went somewhere. Okay, Buffalo Bore up next. Okay. Alright. Blew the first jug up. Let me zoom this back out here. Alright, blew up the first jug, passed through, clean through the plywood. That's a good result. Buffalo bore. Second jug. Covered the projectile. Expanded nicely. I'll measure that or weigh that. There's a chunk of plywood in the second jug. We'll set it up for the 158 grain lead semi-wad cutter next. Okay, let me zoom in. 158 grain lead semi-wad cutter, range ammo basically. Full laser denim. Water jug, 3/4 inch ply. If it goes through the 3/4 inch ply, it's lethal. Second water jug, a witness board, a little piece of fiber wood, another water jug, piece of plywood. We'll see how that goes. Okay. Through. Okay, let me zoom this out. The autopsy results. Obviously, the purpose of the denim with the clothing is to give material for a hollow nose projectile to plug up and penetrate deeper than it was designed. Drilled the hole clean through the water jug, split it in and out. First piece of 3/4 inch ply, clean through, in and out, in. The exit's over here. Second water jug clean, right through, in and out. Witness board, hole straight in and out. It actually put this divot in the second piece of plywood, so it's pretty good penetration. Went through the third water jug, put that divot in, and the projectile's in the water jug. Some deformation, but I'll measure that in a quick summary and a few thoughts from my friend. But I'll get to that in a few minutes. Let's pause this and move on. Okay, I'm back for the summary. Like I said in the intro, I did this quick little video for a friend of mine. He had some questions about some ammo suggestions for his everyday carry, which is a Airweight 2-inch Chief Special Smith & Wesson modern version. I only have a 60s vintage Airweight Chief Special. These are not rated for plus P ammunition. I believe the modern ones are. But I had 3 loads on hand. Since I don't carry this revolver, I did have a couple defensive loads, but I really never tried them. When I do shoot, I usually shoot range ammo, 158 grain lead semi-wad cutters, or 148 grain lead wad cutters. So I tested the 3 ammos. We went to the Chronograph. The three ammos were Winchester 158 grain lead semi-wad cutter, no hollow point. I would contrast that for a carry load for a long time for many police officers. It was a 158 grain lead semi-wad cutter hollow point, and they called that the FBI load. And at a 2-inch revolvers, it generally gave good performance. Marginal expansion at best. The problem with these very small revolvers, you get 2 inches or 1 7/8 inch barrel in this instance to accelerate the bullet. So the velocity is low, tends to be lower than on a service type gun. So a lot of hollow points, the muzzle velocity of a 2-inch won't achieve what's called expansion threshold, where it'll impact and begin to expand on an adversary. And as this is in the realm of a close range personal protection weapon, what police jargon would call a belly gun, backup gun, belly gun, basically contact distance to 10 yards. That's my definition of the parameters for use of a belly gun. Yes, can you hit stuff with practice at further distances? Yes, you can. Like everything, getting to know your equipment and practicing with it. The two defensive loads I had, Hornady makes very fine critical defense rounds. I carry them in my EDC 9 and my EDC 45. Both are Glocks, by the way. This is the revolver version. This is a 110 grain projectile, so it's lighter than the standard 158 grain lead projectile for the 30 Special. It's basically a hollow point with a polymer tip that prevents clothing and some debris from plugging the hollow point up, and it gives a consistent expansion. At least that's the theory behind it. That's about $32 for 20 shots. Sounds very expensive. You can pick up a box of range ammo for 50 shots, Winchester or PPU, sodium below, they make the same load for $25, $27, 50 to 60 cents a shot. And I'll go into that in a minute, why that's important. This buffalo bore, that's the box, 20 shots. The local store, $38 for 20 shots. So it's almost $2 a shot. Standard pressure, short barrel, low flash, heavy. That's what it says on the thing. 38 Special non-plus P. 125 grain low velocity jacketed hollow point. So I guess they've optimized this hollow point to expand that velocity you get obtain out of a 2-inch revolver. And Buffalo Bore is a premium boutique ammunition maker, and all the other calibers I've tried, and it's usually pretty high performance stuff. And as it proved in this case. So did the chronograph, had a little problem with the sun outside. It was messing with the chronograph screens. You need good sunlight on the screens to get an accurate reading. Fired just 3 shots of each ammo. Like I said, $2 a shot and $6 for chronograph results for the Buffalo Bore. 158 lead semi-wad cutter Winchester. The velocity averaged 743 feet a second. Translates to 194 foot-pounds of energy. The Hornady critical defense with a lighter projectile, 110 grains. And if you're new to firearms, grains is a archaic unit of measure. There's 7,000 grains to a pound, 428 grains, I believe, to an ounce. So basically 110, 115 grains is a quarter of an ounce of mass. The velocity averaged pretty good, 909 feet a second, and it translated to 202 energy foot-pounds. The Buffalo Bore pretty surprised me. 125 grain jacketed hollow point, so it's between the two loads, the Winchester and the Hornady. It's 125 grains. The velocity averaged 1,002, and it was very consistent. They're only 1 or 2 feet per second off each shot. It'd be nice to have a whole bunch of this to test and really shake it out, but that's not feasible. The energy was 279 foot-pounds of energy for the Buffalo Bore. You can feel slightly increased recoil with that. Like I said, to me it felt hot. But they say it's, standard pressure, so I believe in them. Whatever combination of powders or modern powders, you can do some pretty good things with the ammo today. Did the terminal effects test. I altered the water because I kind of suspected that the lead semi-wide cutter would penetrate a lot more water jugs than the hollow point ammo, and that was correct. The Hornady Critical Defense, it basically blew up the one water jug and put a little dent on the plywood, the 3/4 inch plywood it was sitting in front of. Obviously I put 4 layers of denim in front of the water jug. If a hollow point plugs up, it's going to penetrate deeper, not shallower. So I couldn't recover the projectile. It's on the forest floor there somewhere in the leaves. It didn't stay in the jug. Blew the jug up, nice energy display, but in my opinion, that's the penetration is not good. I would not carry that load. That's just my personal opinion. Next, we did the Buffalo Bore 125 grain jacketed hollow point. Looks like that. I don't know who makes the hollow point for them, or if they make it themselves, but performed pretty well. Good velocity. Blew up the first water jug. Punched clean through the 3/4 inch plywood, which is a very good result. That's a lethal result with a belly gun there. 3/4 inch piece of plywood is pretty substantial barrier. Be like a big heavy bone. Went through the second water jug and was in the second water jug. Put a pretty good hole in the front of it, and there was a chunk of plywood blown into that water jug. And I recovered the projectile, and we're going to measure right here on my dial calipers. The widest expansion is basically 440 thousandths of an inch, or 450 thousandths, so 45 caliber. I put on this, expanded to 45 caliber from 35 caliber, and nice expansion, and performed well. Would I carry the load? Sure. If I was going to carry a 2-inch, that's a good choice. There's a big downside though, and that's the cost. You see the nice engraved rifling on the projectile. Next up was I should put the weight. I did weigh it. It was 121.8 grains. So I have 125 grains starting weight. It's very, very good, weight retention. And the penetration was good. So that's a good load. The run-of-the-mill 158 grain lead semi-wide cutter. It punched through the water jug, punched the first chunk of plywood, went right through the second water jug, through the witness board, into the third water jug. There's a piece of 3/4 ply pressed up against the third water jug. Put a big divot into the 3/4 inch, the second sheet of plywood, and fell back into the third water jug. Good penetration. Now, with handguns or any projectile in self-defense, human adversary trying to harm or kill you, you get many types of adversaries. A lot of criminals are cowards, and a firearm can produce a psychological stop in which you hit somebody with a non-critical wound, and they just only shot him on and retreat and run away, and that's a good result. If you encounter a goal-oriented person that really wants to kill you, I've seen this in domestic violence, many occurrences over my 33 years of police service, and been to a few homicide scenes with the domestic violence. You have a goal-oriented individual, and you're a woman. ex-boyfriend, ex-husband, and he wants to kill you, or maybe kill himself, or he comes kicking through the door with a knife or a bat, you're going to have to, if you have to fire and defend your life, you want the projectiles to get into the vital organs, the boiler works. That's your only chance of affecting some type of physiological stop. Bullets hitting heart, lungs, major arteries, blood pressure drops. No one's blown off their feet, but in 20 seconds, he may pass out from being, shot through the boiler works 4 or 5 times with a revolver. And what you want is penetration to the organs. That's what a critical offense, in my opinion. Yeah, made a big, dumped all of its energy in it, 6 inches of water, and that was it. That might be insufficient penetration. I'm sure if we had gel block tests, and we could go through this for ad infinitum. This is just a simple test by a simple old guy who's been around guns a long time. Say your average is 300 pounds. It might have to go through 14 inches of meat and bone before it hits any, vital organs. Big barrel-chested guy, big gut. So that's why you want adequate penetration. Cost is another factor. This Buffalo Bore is very good ammo. I think it would perform well in a little 2-inch. However, unless you're a rich person, you can't afford to buy a significant quantity of this to practice with, which you need to do. And, be sure you can hit your target, up to 10 yards, the average person, and, put the shots in the boiler works. Obviously, any projectile striking the central nervous system and disrupting it, like the spinal cord or the brain, usually produces a very rapid instant capacitation or near instant capacitation, almost always. But the other effect is if you poke enough holes into the vital structures of the chest, that's how you affect the physiological stop. And if you have a goal-oriented assailant that's trying to kill you, murder you, like in a domestic violence case, a lot of motion there, man, I feel pain, might be drugged up, So all handguns are low-powered rounds. If I knew I had somebody like that coming through the door, I'd have a 12-gauge shotgun waiting for them, or a decent military pattern semi-automatic rifle. But the 38 lead semi-wad cutter did penetrate more than adequate. Did it expand? Almost no. You got a little bit of mushroom on the front. It retained almost all of its weight, 156.7 grains out of 158 grains. A little expansion we had here. .390 thousandths of an inch. That's the widest point on this projectile. You got to put it on a needle nose, otherwise you get. But it did have more than adequate penetration. But an inexpensive ammo like this, yes, you could defend your life with it. You can practice with it. You can get better. Not everybody's got a whole bunch of money to, purchase a lot of ammo and $1,000, $1,500 handguns, custom handguns. You're someone, perhaps you're a woman with a crazed ex-boyfriend after you, all the domestic violences I've handled over the years. I used to tell the ladies, and a restraining order is a good thing. You get the restraining order keeps allows the police to arrest the assailant if he, comes through their house or threatens them. But I always told them a piece of paper never stop a bullet or a knife. And if you really feel that that person is a serious threat to you, you need to break contact, move away, and if that's not possible, obtain something and some training on how to defend yourself. Local firearms organization. But like I said, I did this quick video for a friend of mine. His everyday carry is either this or short barrel 9mm. The short barrel 9mm, I actually have an everyday carry gun or occasional I'd say 1 out of 7 days. I'm very short. It's a real small one. And that'll be my 38 ammo test video. Like I said, I did it for a friend of mine, and I'll send them a link to it. I got this external mic, and I have 2 identical cameras. One I got used, one I got new. The one camera had a hum with this mic. The other camera, no, we're crystal clear. This should solve my audio problems. I know a lot about firearms, but I'm a novice with filmmaking or making videos. So hopefully it improve a little bit. And that's it for this video. Have a good evening.